I'm back. I just did my Ministry Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste Rocktober reissue vinyl, whatever. Hopefully you watched it. I'm now here to do some ranting as I talk about part two of the new Rocktober reissues for Ministry, Psalm 69. I've already done a video on the music. Hopefully you guys watched that. You know I love Al Jourgensen and Paul Barker and the rest of the Ministry crew. You know I love these guys. You know I like this album. I know many people find Psalm 69 to be Ministry's best album. You're wrong. I say that with love. You're entitled to have your opinion. This is not the best Ministry album, in my humble opinion. I also think I'm right. This is far from their best album. But it's still a good album. I mean, it's Ministry. This is the end, toward the end of their heyday. I think the album they put out after this, Filth Pig, which I've also done a video on, is excellent. Much better than this. I think every album that came out before this, every Ministry album, and then the one that came after this are all better than this. But if I were to rank them, yeah, I'd put all the preceding albums and the one album after this before this, and then I'd put this on the list. So I don't know, what is that? Their sixth best album? I don't know. This is a good album. And I know a lot of people, this is how they first learned about Ministry, and those people who might have been too young to be hearing Ministry prior to this was your intro to Ministry. I get it. This is where they blew up. A lot of people think this is the beginning of industrial rock as we know it. You would be wrong, of course, but I understand why people would think that. This was like the big first huge popular industrial rock album. I think people would argue with me about Nine Inch Nails, but I would argue with you that Nine Inch Nails isn't industrial at all. That's right. I'm gonna shake your expectations of what you think industrial is to its very foundation. And I'm not going to get into Nine Inch Nails. Those of you who watch my channel, you know that it's a mistake when I do that. But if you want to see me go on about Nine Inch Nails a little bit more, watch my past Meat Beat Manifesto and Ministry videos, and you can kind of get where my general feelings are on Nine Inch Nails. But anyway, this is one of the big ones. We all know it. The music's fine. Again, not my favorite album. I think this album's kind of spotty, but it has some of their best moments, like NWO. The singles from this album are fucking fantastic. NWO, Just One Fix, Jesus Built My Hot Rod. Especially Jesus Built My Hot Rod and Just One Fix. Fantastic singles. And the remixes are good, and the B-sides are cool, and it's just, this is a good album. I just don't think it's their best. But I've talked about the music here, all right? Go watch that video. I'll link you to it in the description, too, if you haven't seen that video. You can go check that out. I'm going to be focusing mainly on this Rocktober vinyl reissue by Rhino. Okay? Now, remember, one last reminder, I'm not talking about the music. I'm not talking about Al Jourgensen. I love Al Jourgensen. Uncle Al, he can never do wrong. I love this man. And I know you love him too. This is not a comment on him or the band or the music. This is a comment on this particular Rocktober 2025 vinyl reissue. I want to be clear about that. I am not trying to be sensational or over the top or melodramatic when I say this. This is one of the worst vinyl pressings I have ever heard in my life. This is awful. And Rhino should be fucking embarrassed. And this is Rhino, okay? Those of you who've bought Rhino reissues in the past, you know that they're very spotty as it is. But recently, in recent years, they've done a slightly better job with it. Like last year when Twitch and Land of Rape and Honey came out, they were really good. And there's plenty to like about this reissue in terms of like the thought process into the track listing, the packaging. But that's the easy stuff. The actual music, the playback on these records is shit. Awful. I don't know. I have thousands of records in my collection. I don't know that I have any other record in my collection that is so wildly bad as this one. It's bad. And I can see Ministry fans buying this just so you can say you have it. I get that. And I have it and I'll keep it. But I will never be playing this reissue again. I was shocked at how spotty and sloppy the sound quality is here. Shocked. It's terrible. I don't know why this is. Only Rhino could answer these questions. But from where I stand as someone who buys records to listen to, I talk about this all the time, but I feel like vinyl culture and collecting has become this weird fetishistic thing where people buy records and then they look at them and I'll show you the back cover there. They stare at them and they break them out of their seal and they play them and they comment on how flat the record is and how clean it is and how quiet it is. But then you never see people talk about the quality. They don't talk about the sound. Like, are you listening to these records or are you just staring at how flat the record is? It's a weird fetish now. And it's beyond my understanding, but I listen to the fucking music, guys. I know that's crazy to say, but that's what I'm here for. That's why I buy these things. I want to hear the goddamn music, okay? And the music, the quality. The music's great. And the track selection's great. I'll get into that. But the sound quality is awful. I don't know, again, only Rhino could answer this, but I defy anybody to listen to this reissue and say that there are not wildly varying instances of sound quality that differs from the other song. If you don't hear this, like, how can you not hear this? And I hope people do talk about this, because Rhino should be ashamed of themselves for foisting this upon the public. This is a horrible product, sound quality wise. Picture sleeve wise and insert wise and track listing wise, it's great. But then, it's almost like we forget why we put these things out to begin with, to listen to. From one track to the next, it sounds like a different source. Like, one track is really loud and punchy, and then the next one is super quiet, you can barely hear it. And then the next track is super quiet, and you can barely hear it. And then the next song is super loud, it's too loud. And then the next one's quiet again. Who the fuck remastered this? Or not remastered, but mastered this to vinyl. One thing I will say for Rhino, I guess, to defend them, there's nowhere on here that says it's a remaster. So I guess that would be their argument. Like, we didn't remaster this. We never said we remastered it. Well, yeah, that's fucking obvious. Every track on here, and I'm including all the B-sides and remixes, every single track on this reissue sounds like it was sourced from something different. And they didn't try at all to EQ it. Like, one song to the next, it's super loud and super quiet and super loud and distorted and compressed. I mean, it's a mess. Once again, I challenge any of you to go buy the original vinyl press of this. I have the original European press. I don't know that this even came out in the States on vinyl at the time it came out in the early 90s. But I challenge any of you to go get an original European vinyl press of this. Listen to that, and then listen to this, and then tell me with a straight face that there are no differences. This is a horrible sounding record. I can't, of all the thousands of records in my collection, I can't think of a worse pressing. It was also dirty. These came, I'll show you the labels really quick, and these both come with an insert, which is cool. The labels are just, get out of there, damn it. They have those old school, Sire labels. They were dirty. These come in polyline sleeves too, so the records were spotted up and dirty before they got put in the inner sleeve. So quality control on this release was just piss poor, man. The records have spots all over them. I mean, they play cleanly. They don't play like a new record though. Think about it. When you open up a brand new sealed record, do you expect to see spots all over it? Of course not. Well, at least the copy I got, and it's a common thing now. This is why I go off on a lot of reissues. They're dirty and they're spotty and they have shit stuck to them and little pieces of paper all over them, and it's just a mess. I got all those things with this. But the biggest disappointment is when I dropped the needle down on the record. I mean, every song sounds different. Like this came from an analog source, this came from a digital source, this came from some old CD. Horrible. Really fucking disappointing, man. I was excited for this because of the bonus disc. They crushed it here in terms of, thought process in terms of getting all the old B-sides and remixes. They basically, you get the album on the first disc, and then the second disc, it has the Jesus Built My Hot Rod 12-inch. It has Just One Fix and NWO. I mean, it really doesn't leave. It leaves two tracks out. If you have the original singles, you don't get that extended bonus beat dub mix of NWO, and you don't get the video edit of Just One Fix. But that's all right. You get Quick Fix, which is the B-side to Just One Fix, which is basically kind of like an edited dub version with Burroughs vocals on it. You get the extended version. You get the extended version of NWO, and then you get the B-side to NWO, Fucked. It's all on here. And you also get the extended version of Jesus Built My Hot Rod, which is better than the album version. And you get the original version of TV Song. And the radio edit of Jesus Built My Hot Rod. They put all three of those 12 inches on here. So that's cool. You get all those tracks. What's not cool, dude, horrible. The sound quality, horrible. If you want these 12-inch tracks, I highly recommend going and getting the original 12 inches. And again, I defy you to listen to those original 12-inch tracks and then listen to this and tell me there's not a difference. Dude, this is horrible. You can hear it. It's like they took these tracks from some shitty old CD and plastered them on here. I have no doubt they just wanted to put out this Rocktober release as quickly as they could. They wanted to plaster it out there. They wanted people to buy it for Rocktober, for Halloween, whatever. And they released it. This is a shitty, embarrassing release. And shame on you, Rhino. My confidence in you guys went way up last year after Twitch and Land of Rape and Honey, your reissues of those. Now it's gone back into the shitter. This is arguably the worst issue, any kind of vinyl issue I've ever heard. And the fact that it's Ministry is super disappointing. Al Jourgensen, in my opinion, he always seemed to be someone who was very keen to give his fans a good deal. Al Jourgensen is a good man. We know this. This is why we love Al. He was always very conscientious of giving his fans a top quality product for a good price. And he always delivered. And I think releases like this just kind of put a small blemish on that legacy. It's not Al's fault. I doubt Al even knows this was released. He probably doesn't even know. He has no problem collecting the checks. I have no doubt about that. He probably doesn't even know about this, though. But he should care about this stuff. And I think all Ministry fans who like to buy Ministry's music on vinyl, you should care about releases like this. This is garbage. I wipe my ass with this record. Maybe that'll be my next video. Me taking a dump on this release and then wiping my ass with it. Because this is embarrassing, man. It's disappointing. I will keep this because it's, I already bought it, but this thing's $40. In our current climate where money's tight for everybody and the economy's shit and people don't have extra money to be blowing on things like records, this is a big disappointment, man. And you should care about this stuff. Fuck you, Rhino. You should be embarrassed. This is a joke pressing for your Rocktober series. Take your Rocktober and shove it up your filthy asses. Track listing's great. Go buy the original 12 inches though, seriously. This sounds like garbage. And for you goofy train spotters out there who just want to stare at records as they spin on a turntable and comment how flat it is and how quiet it sounds. Well, yeah, it is quiet. You can barely fucking hear it. It's not like I have some primitive, archaic sound system, too. A top of the line sound system, man, that pulls and culls music out of those grooves. I'm still tweaking my system to get any kind of dynamism out of any of this. And it's all moot, and it's all a fruitless, pointless quest because it's not going to happen with this pressing. It's shit. And I don't mind telling you, you Ministry fans should care about this, and you guys want the truth. That's why you watch my videos and subscribe to my channel, and that's the truth. I would not recommend this at all. Now, if you're a Ministry fan, obviously you're going to pick it up. The music's great, so sometimes the music speaks louder than words and reissues. But listen, if you want a good pressing of this, go buy the original European 12-inch and go get the original European LP press and go buy all the 12 inches. It's gonna cost you. I mean, before I did this video, I looked up my 12 inches. You can still get Jesus Built My Hot Rod, a good copy of that. It looks like it costs like 30 or 40 bucks. I mean, that's not cheap. Still sounds better than this, of course. You can get the NWO 12-inch. Germany was the only company only country that pressed these on 12-inch with all the tracks. So you can go get a double pack of the NWO 12-inch, and then the Just One Fixed 12-inch is like $200. Germany's the only country that pressed it on 12-inch, unfortunately. So I'm glad I have that. I mean, $200, you know, who's got that kind of money to spend on a 12-inch? I can tell you, though, I have that German 12-inch, and it sounds fantastic. Sounds great. Sounds like a record should. If those 3 tracks are important to you, you're going to be super disappointed here. If sound quality matters. Again, if you're a clueless dork who just likes to spin records and stare at them in a trance, then you're not going to care. But if sound quality matters to you, as it should, no. Just no. Don't do it. And I haven't heard, I know Rhino repressed this, just the single, the album itself. They repressed this at some point in the past. I have no clue how it sounds because I never bought it. I was excited to get this, though, because Rhino, it seemed like the reissues lately had been better. But they fucking tricked me again, man. Do not spend your hard-earned money on this. I will talk about this briefly. Just like The Mind is a Terrible Thing to Taste, you do get an insert written up by Jason Pettigrew, the alternative press guy. If anybody's going to write about Ministry in the 80s and early 90s, it's him. He was there, ground level, touring with the band. He was an honorary cock. He knew the band. He wrote about them constantly. He's like an honorary member of the band. No better person to write about Ministry during this time period. So you get this insert. You know, these reissues do a really nice job in terms of aesthetics. They make it look shiny and pretty and it looks cool, but man, if you're buying this shit to listen to, hang on a minute. I had to pause it there for a minute. Sometimes my camera goes blurry when I get all excited. But I'm excited about this and not in a good way. Just don't buy this. Listen, sometimes I know you want to buy shit. It makes you feel better. I understand. But sometimes you have to protest. You have to stop. You're being complicit with companies like Rhino when they put out subpar shit like this. I can't imagine Al Jourgensen, who's someone who has exceedingly high quality for stuff and respects his fans. I can't imagine he'd want you to buy this. Don't buy it. Don't be part of this fucked up machine that Rhino's part of. This is a garbage pressing. How many more times can I say that? I love Ministry, man. This kind of thing annoys me. All right? So go buy the original pressing if having this on vinyl matters to you. Before I end this, one positive thing. The music's great. I'm going to remind you, this isn't a comment on Al or Ministry or Paul Barker or Chris Connolly or anybody else that was part of this album. Gibby Haynes. This is not a comment on them. This is a comment on Rhino and their epic laziness. Don't be complicit to these companies by giving them your hard-earned money. You work too hard for your money. Protest these types of releases by not buying them. Goodbye.